Hi, I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hagar. Welcome to Mama Mandala, where magic is somatic. We're going to use this moment in time. I'm releasing this video around the end of July. So we're moving into the middle of summer, this time of year that is in ancient traditions marked the beginning of harvest season, this time of year when the sun is still powerful in the day sky. I'm speaking from a northern hemisphere perspective. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, hi, this still can be a powerful practice to bring in the energy of the sun, because for you, if you're in the northern hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere, the sun is starting to strengthen. Here in the northern hemisphere, even though it's still very powerful, there is a softening that's happening. So nature is now in this phase of giving and offering and fruiting, and the food is in abundance. There's generosity that we can tap into and use the season to consider our strengths, our sun-like, solar-like power as ways for us to actually be giving, like the sun. It's very generous if we think about it. It draws its power inwardly and extends it and offers it. Its light and heat are a source of life, are a source of so many possibilities, right, in the solar system. So here we are, and that we can bring ourselves into relationship with this power, with this strength, both in the way of our own power being generated and harnessed and gathered so that we can share it, and in the way of our own capacity to receive, to allow the generosity of nature right now to be welcomed into our lives, to watch the places where there is a lot for us to allow into our lives. It's in the way of food and of farmers markets and of growing a garden, but it's also in other places. And so it's a moment in the season that allows us to be strong and soft, receptive, open, to allow something in, and powerful and capable of giving from ourselves. So it's a both and, which I think if we can take that into many other places in the world, a both and energy is really necessary. Not to separate things into boxes and lock them in binary vision, but allow a both and. Because if we think about strength, we can very quickly arrive at the conclusion that without openness, there is no resilience. And if there's no resilience, there is no strength. I'm gonna link an article for you in the description of this video so you can check it out. And also, if you want to go deeper into this exploration, we're gonna go to the mat right now and embody it. But if you want to go even deeper and further, I'm going to leave another link for you for the Lughnasadh Somatic Ceremony, which is a deep dive into this moment in the season. So this is just a quick, yummy little bite. But if you want the full meal, I'm going to leave a link for you in the description. Without further ado, come onto all fours, to hands and knees, and spread your fingers. Root your hands into the floor in a way that allows you to both connect and imprint your own presence and receive the strength of the earth into your hands. And move your hips a little bit side to side so that you're bringing fluidity and non-stuckness quality into how you're placing yourself. Because I don't know about you, but maybe this will speak to you. I want to place myself in my life and in the world, and this is not an easy thing to do. You can circle the hips around in one direction and then in another. I want to place myself in the world in a way that is both strong with clear boundaries. I'm going to change direction in the circle, but also open and not stuck. And yeah, I have my opinions, but I am willing to learn and willing to listen to other ways. Yeah, and that's something I'm working on. Inhale, take your hips back and your chest forward. Arch your back. We'll do a little bit of cat and cow. Exhale, round your back, looking towards your navel. Press your hands down and do that a few more times with your breath. Bring a tone to the back of the throat. So you're starting to breathe Ujjayi Pranayama. So there's this resonant sound to the breath as you move. And just like that, a couple of more times to arch the back, to tilt the hips back and reach your chest forward and look forward, and to round your back. And you can start to feel as you move in this way, one more, that there is both a strength and a softness in both directions. Can you feel that? One side strengthens the back and the other strengthens the belly. Deep breath in right here in that space between, in the middle, in the commingling of both. Press the hands down and exhale. Reach up and back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Root down through the inner edges of your hands and the tips of your fingers. And that requires presence. That requires your attention and your power grounding in. Reach your right leg up with a deep breath in, all the way up as you root your hands down, and exhale. Step the right foot forward to the outside of your right hand and bring your left knee to the floor as you pull your chest forward. Deep, slow inhale. Ground the ball of the right foot into the earth, the ball of the left foot into the earth. So again, there's a rootedness, but the rootedness isn't crushing what's beneath it. It's a rootedness that allows a relationship with what's underneath us. And I'm up on my fingertips if you are wondering what to do with your hands. There's a sensitivity that we are cultivating along with the powerful stance that we take. And then with an exhalation, plant your hands and step back into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And it requires nuance, and it requires the willingness to make mistakes or to not always do it right. Left leg up, deep breath in. Strengthen your arms by drawing them towards one another and away from one another. And exhale, keep that strength as you step your left foot forward and place it outside of your left hand, right knee down to the floor, up higher on the fingertips of your hands. And if this is too much for you, you can always use maybe a couch, or if you need to pick yourself up a little bit, if you need to make this less deep to the ground, there's always other ways that you can do it. And I think that that's a great practice for many of us in the world, in our lives, in the modern day-to-day living, to recognize the places where, okay, backing up a little bit, resting maybe a little bit more, softening the edges, knowing when to say no to certain things so that you can actually retreat and pull back. That requires strength. That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of boundaries and a rootedness inside yourself. Exhale into downward facing dog and press the hands down as you reach up and back. Reach your hips up high and root your heels into the earth. And can we be sensitive as we do so? Inhale the right leg up, bend the right knee and open up the right hip. And that sensitivity is cultivated in the practice toward ourselves. So how deep do I want to take this? Do I want to take the right leg to the left a little bit more? Is this crushing my left shoulder towards the floor? If so, lift your left arm bone a little bit up higher. Lift your left hip bone a little bit higher. You can go deep, but you have to create a vessel that can handle the depth, that can handle the kind of reach that you are trying to cultivate. Reach your leg back, deep breath in, and exhale. Bring your foot outside of your right hand. So same position, but this time bring your forearms slowly down to the earth. Now, if this is too much, again, put your forearms up on blocks. Put your forearms up on a couch. Maybe don't come all the way down to your forearms. Do what you need to do to take care of yourself. And as we take care of ourselves, as we go to these places where we're, okay, I'm listening to my needs, I'm listening to what my body is asking, I'm listening to what my soul speaks to me about, can I make sure that as I take care of myself, I'm not harming others? Because I think that in the wellness world and in the spiritual communities, deep breath in, and with an exhalation, step your right foot back, plank on your forearms, and this is not easy, right? So if you need to, you can put your knees down. If you need to, you don't have to stay here as long as I am staying here. Reach your heels back as you pull your chest forward. Pull your elbows back towards your feet and your feet towards your elbows, but also reach and lengthen your spine. And that's going to start to make things shake. And breathe. How soft and gentle can you be in this pose that is hard and ferocious and intense? It is strengthening you, but how gentle with yourself can you be in these intense moments? And this is a physical way for us to practice it if you can do it. And if you can't do it, you take breaks, or you just keep your knees down, or maybe you don't do that, you skip it. You sit back on your heels with your hands on your belly and you breathe. One more inhale here. And with an exhalation, bring your hips down and pull your chest forward and up. So I was trying to say before we went into this shenanigans that sometimes in spiritual traditions, right now in the modern day-to-day world, there's so much emphasis on taking care of ourselves, and I think it's necessary. We have to take care of ourselves, but we're missing out on the other side of it, that we are a part of a society, a community. We're a part of a greater world, and we want to navigate. It's a both and situation. Tuck your toes, and we're going to lift. Don't worry, we're not doing plank on the forearms right now. We'll do it one more time on the other side, but that's it. But lift your knees up and walk your feet forward. Breathe slowly here. So this can be really intense on the shoulders. Take your armpits toward your fingers, but then also reach your hips up towards the sky and your chest towards your thighs. So you're doing two things. It's both end, and they are opposing one another. Arm bones toward fingers, hips up, chest towards feet. Both end. Left leg up, and draw the front of both of your hip bones towards one another. So there's another way to strengthen yourself. Front of both hip bones. I'm going to bring my knees down so that I can show you if you need a look. The front of both hip bones towards one another to embrace the center and strengthen your core just a little bit more. Deep breath in. And exhale. Lower your left foot down and separate your feet a little bit wider and move your hips a little bit side to side. Come up high on your fingertips. And my heels are still up, so you can keep your heels up for a little bit more. Move your hips, move your torso a little bit side to side, and bring your torso slowly to the space between your thighs and bring your hips down towards the floor. Malasana, bring your hands together in front of the heart. And if this is too much, hopefully you have a block or something or a stool you can put underneath your hips for a moment, so you can use props to take care of yourself. Do what you need to do to make sure that you are taken care of. And in the process, and sometimes that's a contradiction, that's a paradox. Sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes no matter how sensitive we are, we're going to step on somebody's toes. That's also part of life, and we need to be able to. Our strength is how we can show up and go, oh yeah, wow, I did that. So now what can I do to adjust? What can I do to repair? What can I do to take care of myself and more than myself? It doesn't stop in just me. It doesn't stop in just them. It's a both and conversation, I think. Put your hands down. What do you think? Root down through your hands, fingertips down. I'm lifting my heels up, lift the hips up. We're gonna bounce a little bit if you can. If not, if this is, do you see what I'm doing? I'm just kind of hopping a little bit. If you feel like, lady, that is just insanity, not for me, thank you very much, then you're not. Then you can not even lift your feet up off the floor and just bounce a little bit this way. That's also strengthening. A couple of more, maybe you even, if you have the experience, you pause for a moment in a handstand with the knees bent, and then we'll meet in Uttanasana in forward bend and fold into yourself. Breathe slowly, slowly through the tone in the back of your throat. Bend as you come up high on your fingertips here. Turn so your thumb's gonna be where it's at, but turn your fingers out a little bit and then bend the elbows to the side so there's an engagement in your upper back, and breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, look forward. And with an exhalation, step your left foot back and bring your left knee to the floor. And if the floor is lava and it's hurting your knee, you can put something underneath your left knee. And reach your arms up. Inhale. Bend your left elbow and hold your left elbow with your right hand. So you can put a blanket underneath your knee. Something to help support so that it's the hardness of it doesn't stop you from doing it. Okay, so the right hand is holding the left elbow. Left hand is resting on the space between the shoulder blades. And then draw, again, the front of your hip bones, the ASISs, towards one another. Sides of the ribs towards the center. And then lift the chest up and lean your head into your arm that's behind you, your left arm. Open through the heart, open through the chest without collapsing your core. How do we stay strong, connected to our core, and open in our hearts? Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, touch the floor and step back, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. That was a big journey. We're gonna do it on the other side. Inhale, the left leg up. Remember that? That was so long ago. Bend the knee and open up your left hip. Reach your left foot toward the right. And again, have a conversation with yourself. Notice, how deep do you want to take it? Spread the toes of your left foot so the left leg is engaged. Don't let it be dead weight up in the air. Engage it. Fire it up. Spark it. Make it strong. Make a stand, take a stand even up in the air. Right arm bone lifted, right hip lifted. Breathing. Inhale, reach your leg back. And exhale, bring your left foot forward, outside of your left hand. And now forearms down to the floor or up on a chair or on a couch. What do you need to do in order to support yourself? Make your legs strong here as well. So the front of the right hip bone, the front of the left hip bone draw towards each other. And the right foot and the left foot pull towards one another, both front to back and back to front, but also side to side. So right to left and left to right. Does that make a difference for you? It makes a huge difference in my experience for myself. So actually I can be, this is so cool, right? Because I feel like I can be, because of the strength that cultivates, I can be a little softer. I can handle it, right? I don't have to, it's the intensity actually sometimes softens a little bit when I am strengthening and holding things together. Deep breath in. And exhale, step your left foot to meet your right foot. Plank on your forearms. One more time. It's just one more time to do this. And it's strengthening for our center. So it's good for us. Push your heels back. Lengthen your chest forward. But you'll feel that wants to collapse you to the floor. So don't let it collapse. Draw the front of the hip bones towards each other. Draw the sides of the ribs towards the center. Energetically pull your elbows towards your feet and your feet toward the elbows. Maybe move the hips a little side to side if that feels good for you. It makes it a little bit more intense. Breathe. If you need to, you can put your knees on the floor. You can take a few breaks if needed. One more full breath in. And then with a slow exhalation, lower your knees, lower your hips to the floor, Sphinx pose. Breathe. Slow breath. Sensitive and caring and open in this deep listening. We don't stop the listening by listening to the world and ignoring ourselves. We don't stop it by listening only to ourselves and ignoring each other. Tuck the toes under both and back and forth. Lift your knees up off the floor, hips up to the sky. Here we are. Dolphin pose. Breathe. Arm bones towards the fingertips. Hips up high, chest towards the feet. Breathe slowly. So armpits towards fingertips, hips up high, chest towards the feet. That helps to strengthen the shoulder girdle a little bit and allow us to do this without collapsing. And lift your right leg up and draw the ASISs, the front of the hip bones towards one another. Helps to strengthen the lower belly and also the sacrum area. One more breath in. And exhale, lower your right leg down. Separate your feet a little bit wider. Move the hips a little side to side. Lift your elbows up off the floor. Maybe on your fingertips, maybe with your palms all the way down. Move the hips, move the torso a little bit side to side so that it can snuggle in the space between your thighs and hands together in front of your heart once you lower your hips towards the earth. With your knees, with your legs, push in, draw in to the arms, and with the arms, resist a little bit, push back into the legs. Breathe slowly. So if we just let this pose be only soft, there's going to be a collapse. And it's actually can be really not so safe, not so good for the hips, for the legs, for the low back. So an engagement is necessary. Showing up, cultivating ourselves, turning ourselves into a vessel that can receive life's mixture of experiences is necessary. If we're flat, or if we're so pliable that it's not even pliable at that point. If we're only a flow without banks, it's no longer a flow. Does that make sense? We have to have a little bit of both and more, because it's more than just softness and strength, which are not actually opposites, right? It's not so paradoxical, because they're one aspect. One is needed for the other one to be cultivated. Put your hands down. Root them down into the earth. Make your hands sensitive and powerful. Fingertips rooted, inner edges of your hands rooted. We're going to lift the hips and maybe bounce a little bit. Once your feet lift up off the floor, spread your toes. And if you're like, I don't think so, you can lift one leg, lower it down, lift the other leg, lower it down, lift it a little to the side, lower it down, lift it to the other side, lower it down, bring it a little bit more in, lower it down, bring it towards the nose, lower it down, or both feet, just a few more times. There's options. We'll meet in Uttanasana, forward bend, fold in. Again, I'm turning my hands out a little bit. Then when the elbows bent, it's easier to create a deeper engagement in the upper back. And you can play around with it. Move your scapulas, move your shoulder blades around a little bit. Towards each other, away, side to side, up and down a little bit. All with deep, slow breathing. Inhale and look forward. And with an exhalation, step your right foot back and bring your right knee to the floor. Front of the hip bones towards each other. Lift your arms up. Again, if you need something underneath your knee, please put a blanket, anything that you have around you so that it's not hard and painful. Hold the right elbow with your left hand and bring your arm behind your head and breathe as you create strength in the legs by pulling them towards each other, by drawing them toward the center, front to back, back to front, side to side. Draw the front of your hip bones towards each other. Draw the sides of the waist, the sides of the ribs towards the center. And with that lift, now bend deeper into your left knee and lift the chest, lift the heart, open it up. Let it expand. Let it be receptive, but also soft and open and broad in the back, so you're not collapsing the back in order to open the front. There's buoyancy in the back and openness in the front. Arms both go up. Inhale. Exhale, touch the floor and step back. Downward facing dog, fingers rooted, hands lift up. One full breath in here. And exhale, bring your knees down to the floor and take your hips back towards your heels. Bring your forearms to the ground and forehead to the ground and breathe. Breathe into the depth of softness that this pose offers. And the softness is held by the strength and the seemingly solid ground underneath. But that solidity is also transformative and transforming and ever-changing and adaptable, pliable, flexible, but strong. It definitely is a boundary. And then slowly transition yourself to lie on your back and bring your knees into your chest. And take your knees to the right and open the left shoulder to the left. And breathe slowly. How receptive can you be with all the stuff that is moving in you, through you, around you, with reality, even the aspects of reality that we don't like. We have to create room to receive it, then change it, absolutely. But before making any changes, there's got to be a receptivity, a willingness to be with the truth of this is where it's at right now. Not always fun or easy. Inhale your knees back to center. And exhale, take your knees to the left and open the chest to the right as the right shoulder grounds into the earth. To be with ourselves where we are requires focus and discipline and strength and deep vulnerability, because to be with ourselves where it is, where we are, where reality is sometimes not so easy at all. So there's a vulnerability and adaptability that is required, as well as immense power. There's like profound badassness that is necessary. Knees back to center, deep breath. And then hug your knees into your chest. Hug yourself. Give yourself this moment to, even if you don't yet mean it, because sometimes we can say, okay, I'm making room to accept myself, but we don't really mean it yet, or not mean it right now, or it's hard. But we go through the motions, we go through the actions, We say the words. We know it's necessary. We make room for it. We make an imprint so that we can receive into that bowl, into that vessel, something of allowance. And then stretch your legs and release your body into the earth and take some time here in Shavasana. Take some time to rest into yourself, to rest into the world, to rest into the convergence and into inseparability that's also full of difference. And I hope you can stay here for longer than I am. I'm going to sign off and thank you so much. And I hope you can stay in this position for a few more minutes on your own. And if you like this video, please put a like on it. And if you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do and share it with your people. Help spread the word. And head over to mamamandala.com for more in-depth situations. And I hope to see you soon, okay? Thanks so much for being here with me. Namaste.